Welcome back to the Business Launch Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Ann Jimenez, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about 3 ways that you can actually increase your sales, increase your leads, and make more money as we head into the holiday season coming up. What's up, familia? I hope that you are having an amazing start to the holiday season. At least for me, November rolls around, it's my birthday, it's Thanksgiving, Black Friday promotions are starting to come up, and I'm just in heaven. I love putting up my Christmas tree really early, at least earlier than most. Not most, but a lot of people would not approve of. But I'm Puerto Rican. What can I say? Like, we kind of start, getting in that spirit of Christmas early. And it's just a fun time of the year. And I think this is such an amazing opportunity for so many of us to actually level up our sales strategies, our sales techniques, particularly as it comes to, or as it pertains to content creation and how we are actually leveraging content. So this is a time of the year where we don't have a lot of time, right? We don't have a lot of time. We are kind of just doing all the things, especially if you're a parent or if you are, if you enjoy spending time with your family, lots of cool things to do with the kiddos. It's a time and a season of being with friends and just enjoying. And we also kind of tend to slow down a little bit in terms of, our general natural cycles. And so we want to leverage the content that we are creating, the energy that we are putting out into the world, especially this time of the year, so that you can spend more time with your family guilt-free and not feel totally overwhelmed or like you're having to choose between, being present with your kids or being present with your friends, and then also running a business. So these 3 things are things we should do year round, but especially now during the holiday season when our customers, when the market, right, is kind of in the mindset of spending money and buying things and, gifting and doing all the things that come around as part of the holiday season. So the number one thing, and by the way, as I am doing a lot of social media audits for our new coaching clients, this is something that all the time comes up. It just comes up all the time. I would probably say 8 out of 10 of the audits that I do with Chris, we bring this up at some point. And that is, I want to make sure that you're mentioning what you do more often, especially if you're doing it in a casual way in your content. Oftentimes we think that every single time, that we're going to sell anything, especially on social media or through our content creation, that there has to be an elaborate pitch, that the post needs to be exclusively about your service, about your product, about your program. And that can be further from the truth. In fact, I like calling the strategy stealth selling. And this is where you just casually bring up the fact that, maybe today you are engraving some custom ornaments, if that's your business. Or perhaps you're doing a client call, or you're consulting or coaching somebody. Or maybe you just bring up the fact that you have a particular client that you're going to service, and start sharing that through your content, whether that's on Reels, on Instagram, maybe YouTube Shorts, or even Stories. Those are really good places to talk about those things. And so stealth selling really is just this idea that you don't have to be ultra promotional to still make sure people know that you have something for sale. In fact, it builds a lot of what I call curiosity loops. And it's something that I've talked about at length in one of our bonuses that just went out inside of the Business Lounge. So if you're part of the Business Lounge, go check out our social selling scripts. Part 1 is available. And in that workshop, I talk about this idea of stealth selling, right? You just casually mention what you offer so people know about it. And I just did it right now in this podcast. I told you about this bonus that I just released inside the Business Lounge. And I know that for our new listeners, for people who are new to the podcast, or people who are new to our world, they're going to be like, but what is the Business Lounge? And so through our content and continuing to consume it, they'll find out, or they will message us, or they will DM us if this is like a story. If I was saying the same thing in a story. And that curiosity loop kind of just allows people to be more intrigued about what you offer instead of, getting all of the details up front. And so if you just casually mention it, it does build curiosity for a lot of the people that watch your stories, for a lot of the people that go through your reels and watch that, for a lot of the people who are just lurking on your Facebook page or in your Facebook group. And that allows you to then move them into a conversation, right? A one-on-one conversation through DMs or through your website contact form, or, in this podcast, for example, through a URL redirect where I might say, hey, if you have questions about this particular thing or you want to know more about the Business Lounge, you can go to this website and find out. So it's one of those things that we don't do enough. And every single day, I would challenge you to think about how you can stealth sell with your content. Every single day, I would challenge you to figure out how you can use examples from your real business to just get, top of mind with people. The second thing, and that kind of leads into the second tip, and that's to show behind the scenes. I think a lot of us tend to overcomplicate our marketing sometimes. And so we're, and it's not even our fault. Like, we're listening to a lot of experts and there's all these new things coming onto the market, AI and automation and, many chats and just so many things that we immediately associate complication with sophistication. And that is not true. The most efficient marketing is simple. It's uncomplicated. It's seamless. And that's what marketing should be. Our goal should not be to just complicate things to no end for the sake of feeling like we're sophisticated. And so that is one of those things where let's go back a little bit to marketing 101, right? Show people, don't tell people. How can you show your service, your product, your program more consistently? Whether that's, showing some of the behind the scenes of how you offer that specific product. So for example, I can't necessarily do a product demo of the Business Lounge or our upcoming, coaching program or even our boot camps. I can't unbox that because it's not a physical product. But if you have a physical product, you can unbox it, you can demo it, you can show people what it does, how it looks, how it functions, what are the results, what have other people said about it. But if I have, something like a service, I also can't do that. So if you have a service or you have a digital product, you want to go about it a little bit differently. With a service, you actually want to show behind the scenes of you completing that service. So let's say that you have a roofing company, take your camera out, please do it safely. For the love, okay? I'm not saying stand on your roof and take a selfie or a video and then fall off the roof. I had a roofing client when I first started my marketing company, like way back in the day, and I remember specifically being very nervous about that client taking his camera up on the roof, but you got to do what you got to do. Just be safe. Anyway, the point is that, of course, be smart about it, but how can you bring people along, right? What is it like to, have someone kind of come in and ask for, a new logo redesign if you're a graphic designer, or if you're a social media manager, what does it look like to complete that content or schedule that content or create that content strategy for your client? If you're a coach or a consultant, maybe you're a fitness coach, right? What is it like to have a fitness session with you? Show people what it looks like to be in that place where they're working with you one-on-one or having something done for them. And then if you have a digital product, like many of the things that we do, you can go in and just show an actual screen share, right? Like, I can't unbox the Business Lounge and I can't unbox a boot camp and I can't unbox Content Calendar System, but I can actually walk you through what it looks like to log into our app, show you around, show you all the cool features, show you the community, show you where to click, what to do, where to go. And that instantly creates that relatability of imagining yourself in that program, what it would be like to work with our team, what it would be like to ask me questions directly. Those are all really important elements that you can add into your content, especially through social media. And the final tip I have for you is to be your own sponsor. I don't think we think about this often, especially if you're a creator. We're always thinking about other people's products instead of how can we actually productize ourselves? How can we productize our content? How can we monetize what we do and really run our platforms like a business? So important, so key. And what it means to be your own sponsor is to find ad spots within your content that lead people to your sales process, whatever that next step is. So if you have a blog, having places where you have ads that promote your lead magnets, that promote your services, that promote your programs, so incredibly important. And you can also use this in a podcast, right? There's ad spots in podcasts. Why don't you make that about your product or your program or your service? That's what we do. And if you're part of this podcast and you listen to it, you know that we have multiple ad spots. And one of the things that I find really interesting is how we don't necessarily think about it that way. But if we were, let's say, a TV station or a radio station, that's our entire business model, right? Our entire business model is ads, and we create content to accommodate the ads so that people are paying attention and they're excited about a new content release. I think actually the networks kind of have it even better, especially when they partner with cable companies, because they're charging you for the content, plus they have ads depending on if you pay, more to not have the ads. And so there's kind of like double monetization. You want to think about the exact same model for your business where you can actually have ads inside of your YouTube videos or at the end of your YouTube videos. And those don't have to be long or, slimy. They don't have to be pushy or overly long. It just tells people what to do next, how they can work with you. Especially important if you have a service or you have a course or expert-based business, because with more of the product-based peeps, because that is essentially what your content is about, it's so easy to sell seamlessly when you have a physical product and you're creating content about that physical product. But it can get a little bit confusing, a little bit, nerve-wracking, or it's just hard to find creative ways of doing that if you have a digital product or you sell services, because people aren't necessarily used to seeing that as much in the online format as they are something like products. Like they're familiar with that from the offline space. And so that connection can be a little sticky, but you can be intentional. That's why being intentional is so important. How can you actually tell people about what's coming up for you, what's new, what's exciting in your business, and how they can work with you so that they can get the results that they're looking for? Remember, at the end of the day, selling is serving people. We're here in business to serve, to actually help people. And if you're not building an actual lead generation system, if you're not perfecting your sales process, then you're doing people a disservice, number one. And number two, you're not really living up to the calling that God has called you to. Because at the end of the day, if we just have a hobby as a business, right? That's not a business. We got to make money. We have to help people. We have to actually have an exchange of value where you're offering a result and you're giving people an amazing product, program, or service, and they're paying you in exchange for that. So remember, it's your responsibility to be profitable. It's your responsibility to level up your skill set so that you can add more leads to your business, close more sales, and serve more people, have a bigger impact. All right, fam, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I will see you in the next one. Until then, have an amazing holiday season. We'll have more episodes. Don't worry, this is not gonna be the last one, but I just hope that you really enjoy this time of the year, that you level up, that you, if you're running promotions like Black Friday, like we are, that you have an incredibly prosperous one, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.